Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Debbie and this is my brother.
Oh!
And today we're here to talk about Daredevil Born Again, episode 4. So this is your chance now to leave before we get into any spoilers.
3, 2, 1, carrots.
Right, so starting off then, so if you remember when I told you earlier on about
Yeah.
the intro where it takes straight off from the last episode where Hector dies and Matt is at the morgue and his niece actually
Yeah.
Hodges.
Yeah, so, and that kind of establishes her to be the White Tiger later on.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. Because the thing is, I think by showing like the sort of screen time and sort of us getting to know the character a bit more and how she feels, what she says actually
Yeah.
about what she thinks about, I guess, the law and also the police, and also really when Matt, when she does say to Matt actually that look, for a lot of good that did him, you got him out of prison, but look.
But then he immediately died right
exactly,
after.
yeah. And just how that got. So it's nice to see that sort of like interaction. She did try to comfort her, and saying, there will be, justice, somehow, somewhere, there will be someone to, to find the person that did this. We get our first look at Muse as well. I'm not going to get too much into that because if you've seen the episode, you'll know why. But yeah, so then we have the intro, the actual proper intro, and then we get into the actual episode. I thought this episode was interesting because I think what it shows is Matt and Fisk trying to become different than what they actually are. And like, I think the first half of this episode shows them trying their best to become like, Matt not being Daredevil anymore, Fisk not being, the Kingpin anymore, whatever you want to say about that. But I think as you see on Matt's side of things, he's doing another case. He's trying to help this person out that's been accused of stealing this bodega shop.
Yeah.
For like a cereal bars or
And I even
cereal
saw
things.
that, you showed me that bit where the guy that he's trying to defend even's like, oh, could have been a scroll when talking about the cops taking his stuff.
I did. I saw a giggle to myself with that. I was like, wow, that's in Secret Invasion. Samuel L. Jackson in.
Makes me wonder what that whole kind of thing is now on Earth.
Yeah, because the fact that he said that is like an establishment of, actually...
Secret Invasion is canon, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it is already, but like, still, acknowledging it, because we never thought that they were going to acknowledge the
Yeah,
scrolls
it
ever
could have been a
again.
scroll. It's like, oh my god, is that going to be an excuse of everybody now? Like, yeah, it could have been a scroll. I did that. It
Yeah.
was a scroll. It wasn't me. So I thought that was a bit funny. But, he wants probation. Matt tries to help him out. Gets his sentence down to 10 days opposed to what could have been 30. And he makes an argument about, it shouldn't even be like that way because they have to pay like 5 times more to put him into a prison than to pay him what it needs to be food. All I thought to myself was feast. That Spider-Man said like, for people like that on the streets, to help them out,
Yeah.
and
Because we know a feast exists in the MCU, because Aunt May was working there No Way Home.
yes, exactly. So I'm wondering how will this set up now for... I mean, I know it's a very minor thing, but, I did think to myself in that moment, it's a person like that could, go to feast,
Yeah.
and have that kind of establishment there, yeah. And you see, Matt struggling with this because he's like, he understands it from his point of view, it's not perfect, the system, and like he does feel for him, and he starts struggling with that sort of concept. Meanwhile, over on Fisk's side of things, Mayor Fisk, he's trying to set up a brand new sort of industry at the port, Red Hook, I think, and he's got like his counsellors and stuff with him.
Yeah, I saw that bit, because it was like, one of the counsellor people that was helping him was like, okay, if you want to redo Red Hook, was it?
Yeah.
The port where all the mobs have been fighting and stuff. And she was like, okay, we have to like take extra measures and stuff. And Fisk was like, okay, I want to redo it, but you have to do this. Okay, but then I can do that. Well, no, you have to do this before that. Okay, but then we can... And just keeps going.
You just see his face and he's sort of like...
How
"What
much
kind of
longer...
time do you have to
like,
do this?"
how many more steps is it going to take until I can finally do what I
it's
want
like,
to
can
do?
you just tell me what I have to do at the beginning?
Yeah.
And it's like, right, you have to do this. Okay, then do that then. You and Daniel, go off and do that, whatever. And his like, sort of assistant does tell him the problems with the gangs and the mobs, and it's like that is like the third shoot, and she is right about one thing it does need to be taken care of because it's causing problems now. And that face is like, every time there's a problem, he's like, you know, I can't take much more. So I think it's like a sort of build-up moment to him, because he's like, he did actually say to her, come to think about it, that you keep coming to me with problems, come to me with solutions, because he's fed up of hearing all these problems.
Yeah.
So he just wants to get things done, you know, like filling up holes in a road. You know, you also have these other scenes where she's lining up the day for him as a mayor. He goes to a school.
Yeah, I've seen those bits, and like they keep on throughout the episodes. People keep saying to him, "We built this city,"
Yes.
and it's just like I'm sure he appreciates it because he loves New York and stuff. But after so many times like hearing it, eventually you just gotta get fed up.
Yeah. Because he was like, you know, he obviously puts on a brave face and all that. He's like, no, I don't want to hear anymore. But you know, thank you for. It says that he tries to a fake smile, let's you know, just be like happy for him and all that. It's like, oh, this is hard to watch. But on the other side of things, Daniel, who's like the assistant with the woman, he went to a bar with BB and let loose some information about, you know, garbage.
Oh, was that BB?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I think it was. And, you know,
Oh, yeah, it probably was, because it does look like her.
There was a pub disco thing, let's say, and he let slip some stuff anyway. But basically, what happened was it kind of discredits Fisk.
Yeah, because it's about Red
Garbage.
Hook. Oh, garbage.
No,
I
it's
thought
about
it was
garbage.
Red Hook.
No, it's garbage mayor.
Oh.
Garbage mayor. So he's mad, and especially after the day he's had, you know, sort of dealing with things he doesn't want to deal with. Because if I just say to his assistant, like, you know, I haven't got time for this, you know, I'm just not in the mood. I know you're not in the mood, but you need to be doing
And his
this.
marriage problems with Vanessa.
Yeah, and you've got to be dealing with this because, you know, you're the mayor, you need to be seen, you know, doing out and about all these good things and stuff like that. And then he just snaps in the next scene where he's like, who is responsible for this? I don't care who it is, but I will find out.
And then obviously Daniel comes clean, doesn't he?
Yes. So he admits, you know, he opens up to her and just says, you know, yeah, it was my fault. I did wrong. Fire me. I'll still vote for you and all this business and support you. Fisk, you know, tells him, you know, well, I reward loyalty and all that kind of cobblers. But he does say to him, though, that if you do anything like this again with gritted teeth, you know, then it'll be the last thing you ever do. It's like, okay.
Just basically just lasting off with a warning.
Yeah. But I wonder if he will do something stupid later on, because the character that Daniel plays, I get the feeling that maybe he would do something stupid again later on. I don't know, but it'd be interesting now that he's already on a tight leash with what he's done already. So you've got that side of things, the build up, and yes, as you mentioned before with Vanessa, and the mention of Adam again, and we'll get into that later on with Adam, but. Well, I say get on later on. Like, we'll talk about Adam now, but obviously you find out more information about him later on. They're confronted on it and who he is as a person, and you know what Vanessa thinks of him. Fisk doesn't want to hear it. You know, from his point of view, it's like it's just got nothing to do with me. But when he's questioned on it, he just said, we exchanged dialogue, and you know it was, you know, calm, dealt with. So I was like, okay, so you've killed him then, essentially. What you're saying, because Vanessa doesn't know. Vanessa doesn't actually know what's happened. I can't remember what she said. The last dialogue was, because she did say, I never got the chance to break up with him. And then they all look to Fisk then, and it's like, yeah, because Fisk would have been the last person to actually talk.
Yeah, Fisk would have.
So you're now wondering in this sense what's happened. So between everything he's had to do for the day, being sort of on like social media, on Twitter or whatever the hell it is, like, you know, being shown as the garbage mayor, and the problem relationship he has with Vanessa, I think it's just built up to a point where. Because at the end of the episode, you see his sort of build up, and so going back to Matt as well, the problems he's had to deal with this episode and his struggles, I think they get to the boiling point. In fact, the description of the episode is that they battle, they struggle to keep down their darker halves, let's say, because they're trying to change. Matt's trying to move on ever since Foggy, you know. And what's interesting, actually, going back to Matt's side of those things, we get our first look at the Punisher back. I haven't seen him since season 2 of Punisher.
Oh yeah, because doesn't Matt find the bullet?
Yeah, so a bullet, does roll down the street. Well, he knows where he is because he can feel like I guess you could say the symbol. He goes to Punisher, confronts him on it, and he's like, yeah, I got like a fan club now, or something like that. And they both have it out with each other. Very good scene, actually. I do like it, and it's nice to see Punisher again after all this time. He's got a beard now and quite longish hair since the last time I've seen him. But, you know, he confronts him, telling him about, you know, you can't even say basically Foggy's name, because ever since that day, he's never gone back to being Daredevil.
Yeah.
But Punisher, you know, he's carried on doing his own thing. Well, at least from season 2. I mean, I don't know what's happened between season 2 and now, but with all the guns and stuff he has in his little hideout, I assume he's still carrying on the way he is. And they saw both exchange words about what's you know happened, and he said you can't even say his name, you can't even say Foggy's name, and Matt takes out on Punisher because you can see him sort of like fight that anger that's in him, and then it gets to a boiling point of Bullseye's still in prison, you know, eating the same slop and all that, but he's also breathing the same air as us. And they did, how do you feel about that? Well, he's still alive because he wanted him dead.
Yeah, he wanted him dead.
He threw him off the roof thinking, you know, he was going to die. Went to the trial, to the courtroom, and, you know, he got away. Well, I say got away with it. Obviously, he went to prison. But to Matt, that wasn't justice. Justice was to him, his death.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. And you saw that anger then. You still see it now because he's not good with it. He's not happy with it. And he'll never will be until Bullseye dies because of that.
So it makes me wonder if maybe when he goes back to being Daredevil, if maybe he'll try and hunt down Bullseye as his first thing.
Well, like, Bullseye's in prison though.
Yeah, but if he's consumed by enough anger and enough hatred, then he could kind of sort of become like how Punisher was, where he just tries to hunt down everyone and anyone who's responsible for the pain that they've caused him.
Yeah, well, probably other people, yeah, but when we put Bullseye's in prison at the end of the day, I don't think Daredevil's going to go in prison to kill Bullseye.
I mean, yeah, probably not, but it's just something that I thought I would...
Yeah, I mean, if Bullseye does escape, then yeah, there's like a round 2 ding-ding moment, but it's not like Fisk is going to get him out of prison, because Fisk's got his own...
Him.
Yeah, because they don't exactly like each other either. So, yeah, you have that conversation. So I do like the Punisher and Daredevil scene. I thought that was really good. Nice to see Punisher, because I didn't know if we were going to see him until the end of the season, to be honest. And then we sort of get to a point which is coming to the end of the episode where you see Matt go to the roof and you see this line out of helmets that he has, different colours. Actually, you see it in the trailer. You know that scene in the trailer? That collection of helmets, it's that scene it is, that you get to see all the different kind of helmets. And he starts getting his batons out, the batons, sticks, whatever you want to call them. And then he starts training himself again. He may have been training himself this entire time. Like, you know, he may not have gone out to fight, you know, crime and stuff and become a vigilante, but it doesn't mean he hasn't kept up with his, like, sort of training, yeah. So you see him training on the roof, and while this is happening, you see the other side of things of Fisk going down into, like, this dark, deep basement, and he walks past what I recognise as a painting from season 1 of Daredevil, which is how I think they both met, if I remember correctly, because it was in an art gallery.
Vanessa Fisk, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They met in an art gallery, and that painting this is shown in this basement that he walks past, it's the same painting that they both like sort of looked at when they first met. It's shown again in season 3, but that's another story altogether, and because there's some kind of stain on there and all that business. As he's walking past it, he sits down, and as opposed to having one piece of like asparagus and some tiny piece of little, I don't know, like 2 pieces of things on like an egg or something like that, he has like this full-blown meal with sausages and like I think big pasta and all that type of business on there. And he just fills his drink with loads of wine and like, okay, so this is what you want to do, but you can't, you have to be seen with appearances of your changing on the outside world, but down here it's different. And then what you hear is, you know, please let me out, and it's this guy in the cell. I'm like, okay, who's this? And then he calls him out and says, it's Adam. I'm like, oh, okay, so there goes my idea of him killing you then. So he's just locked you up in a prison.
But then, like, the thing is that, why would he keep him alive?
I don't know. There may be a reason
Maybe
for it.
Adam knows something that has connections to people that Fisk wants to get to, so he has no choice but to keep him alive.
I mean, I don't know if Adam's a mobster or anything like that. I think Adam's just probably just a genuine person, maybe. I don't know.
But they
if he
could
does it.
change it in the show.
Yeah, they could change it, absolutely. I don't know enough about the character to know if that's the case. All I see is a character that's in a cell and Fisk is kept in there for God knows how long. And I assume he could be starving him, that's why he's eating in front of him. Because
Probably, yeah.
he's got this long hair, so he's quite clearly, and all that stuff, yeah. So quite clearly, he's been in there for quite some time. How long, I'm not too sure. But maybe by eating in front of him all that food, he's just like making him hungry or thirsty or whatever, you know. And it's like, you know, please let me out. Because he doesn't actually done anything to him from what I seen physically. He looked actually fine, to be honest. It was just, you know, he had him locked up and probably beating him up a little bit. I'm not too sure because they never
Maybe
shown
just
that.
starved him.
Just starved him, yeah. I don't know. I'm not too sure. He's probably kept him there for a reason. Maybe it's something to do with Vanessa later on. I don't know. Maybe he feels like if he kills him and Vanessa ever finds out, then it's going to be worse for him. But the idea is she'll never find out. But she has
I mean, she kind of already thinks that he's killed them.
He must know that Vanessa is smart enough to know that she would probably think Fisk has done something, given what kind of an emotional person he is.
Yeah, they already kind of gave that impression with like the
last episode when they were talking.
Yeah.
You know, is this about Adam? It's like, no, it's nothing to do with Adam. Like, sort of thing.
So it kind of gives that impression that he's killed him, and she kind of already knows. And from what you told me about this episode, it also gave the impression in the therapy scene. So then, if she already thinks that he's killed him, then just like
I don't know. We only just saw him at the very end of that episode, to be honest, and I'm not too sure what could happen there. I mean, I don't think that's going to be the direct focus of this season anyway, because I think a lot of it is going to be directed on Muse and Daredevil having Daredevil again, and Fisk and his sort of like standard in being mayor of New York and everything, you know, because you know they've already planned for season 2 and stuff like that, so you could see more of that happen storyline later on in that next season. There is one more scene. I'm not going to talk about it. If you've seen the episode, you know exactly what it is and why I can't talk about it. But I just thought it was unbelievable. But yeah, I thought this episode in general was really good. I mean, a lot of people have, I think, said that because this Daredevil show was sort of done by 2 writers, 2 directors, whatever, and they had sort of like different, not so much storylines, but they try to tackle it from different approaches, and you can sort of see that in this episode. I think I can a little bit, but I think this episode kind of goes a long way to show you how much Matt and Fisk are trying to be better than what they were before at the beginning of this episode, and they're struggling with it, and by the end of this episode you can see them reverting back to their old ways. I think is what I've taken away from this episode. It's like gone from being what you were to what you're becoming now, is what I think this episode establishes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really have much to say, because again, I haven't watched the episode.
Yeah, it's just going off from what I'm telling you,
yeah.
Yeah. But I think, you know, this is the 4th episode now, so there's still 5 more episodes left. I think there's like another 2-parter at some point. I don't know if that's going to be the end, I'm not too sure, maybe. But I'm still enjoying it. I really do like it, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Do you have any questions to ask?
I don't think so, no.
No, in that case, well, before we end off, I'll ask you guys as well. If there's any questions you'd like to ask, then feel free to leave it down in the comments.
Or what you guys thought of the episode.
Yes. And we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So that is going to be it from me, Dewi, and my brother.
Oh,
and we'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.
Ta-da.